What's up, everybody? So we're out in the shop, and today we're actually going to be working in the other shop. And I'm shooting this intro after I technically already did this build because the intro got deleted and the first two clips of the video got deleted because I was trying to clear some space off of stuff, and yeah, didn't realize what I deleted. So what I'm going to do in this video is this intro where we're going to be taking a 5160 leaf spring and we're going to forge it out. So we're going to actually take and unbend it and then flatten it out, and then we're going to forge it into a kukri. That's the goal for the day. I'm going to show you that stuff. Now, the part where you're going to see me folding it out and flattening it out, that is actually shot at a different time because, again, the footage of me originally doing it on the knife that we're going to be working on today, that got deleted. But I'm going to show you how I did it so that you can actually see that process, and then you're going to be able to see all the rest of the forging. So we're going to have that for you today. So let's go ahead, let's get out there, let's jump into it. So like I said, I accidentally deleted the footage from me actually taking the piece of steel from basically this shape to being flat. So I'm going to go ahead and show y'all that process right now, and then we'll go into the footage of me actually forging everything out on the piece of steel that you actually see as the actual knife. So what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to speed this part up. I'm going to show you how long it takes me to actually unfold this in real time. And all we're doing is using the horn on our anvil to go ahead and start opening up that coil. It's pretty simple. There's nothing too complicated here. We get it kind of opened up and then we start hammering it out. And the big deal is you want to make sure you get it hot enough so that it's easy to do this. If you're working steel that's cold, this is going to be a big task. But whenever you get it hot enough, of course you don't want to go too hot because you'll end up messing up the metal, but if you get it hot enough, you'll easily be able to fold something like this straight out, just like I did right there. And now we basically have a flat piece of steel that we can start forging into a knife. And that's what we're going to be doing from that point moving forward. Now, on here you can see I already started a little bit of the shape, making the area that I want to do the recurve on and start working the tip. I will tell you that there is a step that you don't actually see on this, and what it was is whenever I was forging this tip, I didn't do it exactly how I normally do it, and you can see that I have a little bit of an open mouth area right there towards the end where there's a little V from pushing the steel together. The part that you don't see is I actually just took the blade and put it on the edge of the anvil and cut that piece off. So I basically used the edge of the anvil and, well, for the most part, cut the little piece off. I don't know what a better way to actually say that than that's what I just did. It's just like the people that have the little axe heads that go in the hardy hole and they cut the steel to make it shorter or however they do it. I just did that, but I used the edge of the anvil as the tool. What I'm really focusing on here is starting to get the rough blade shape before we start putting all of the curve into it. And once we get comfortable with the amount of drop point that I have and the tip and the little bit of recurve, then we're going to start focusing on refining the actual shape of the blade and the handle. So you'll see how hot I get this each time. I want to make sure that I have a lot of time to work this blade so I get it to a nice glowing temperature, and it lets me be able to work the steel a little bit longer. And with the lighting makes it look like it's colder than it is right now, but it was still nice and hot. But you can see here, we start getting that recurve brought in a little bit more. And what I'm doing is I'm using the rounding hammer part of this to get into that area. I'm not using the flat side of the rounding hammer. Now, whenever I forge the center part there, I use the rounding hammer. When I go to where it's lay the steel down flat, I switch to this flat part of the rounding hammer. So I'm using both sides just depending on what task I'm trying to do here. And the goal with this is to be able to create those curves with the rounding hammer, and then also be able to keep it flat and keep the right thickness throughout. So you're not just curving everything and then leaving it be. You got to flatten that steel back out so that you actually have a uniform thickness throughout the steel. So that's what I focus on as much as possible while I'm doing this. Now it's time to go ahead and start working on the handle. And I am going to forge the palm swell into this knife. So that's what I'm doing right here. I'm just working the steel to get the rough handle shape, and then we're going to end up putting a little bit of curve on there. And you can see, yeah, dropping still happens. Luckily this one just dropped and it didn't swing up and smack me in the face. But the goal here is to start working in that shape for where the finger choil area is going to be, and then I'll start working the back section of the handle. You can see right there to start creating that palm swell area. And once we get it to where we're comfortable with both of these little contours that we have here, we're going to start refining the handle shape a little bit more. And again, using the rounding hammer on the curved spots and the flat hammer on areas like this where I'm moving the steel to make the butt of the knife a little bit broader. So I'm forcing the steel in and then flattening it out, and then moving the steel in and flattening it out to try and make the butt just a little bit taller. Once we're comfortable with the shape, we're going to use this little tool right here to start working that curve in the spine. And once we're comfortable with the curves and the shapes, it's time to just work on flattening the piece so we make sure it's nice and straight. And I'm going to slow this down a little bit so that you can actually see how straight this turns out. Right there. Nice and straight all the way through. Call it there. Alright guys, let's go ahead and wrap up today's vlog with a little bit of that. Now I know y'all have seen a little bit of this in my previous videos, but I mean, check that out. That's all forged to shape. Now I plan on changing this just a little bit. You know, I kind of drew a little bit on it for things that I thought about after I forged it, which would have been really easy to forge into this, but I don't want to go through and reforge just little spots. I'd rather just use the, you know, belt grinder. I've got that. I'm not going to change it very much. It's just going to be a couple of little bitty tweaks, but the goal of this was to focus on hammer control and, you know, make sure that we get a nice flat, straight blade whenever we're taking and contouring it this much. So, you know, I moved a lot of metal to be able to get everything to be shaped how I want it to be shaped. And then getting it like that and being able to keep it flat and keep it the same consistent thickness all the way through. That was the goal for this whole entire build, was just seeing how well I can do that and, you know, learn something in the process. So that's what I did with this. Now guys, hopefully y'all have a little bit of takeaways from this, and hopefully it helps you out. I know that y'all have been, again, wanting me to do forging videos. I've done tons of stock removal videos. And right now I'm doing a little bit of forging and stock removal. We will have a few that are going to be just dedicated. Well, I say just dedicated. They're going to be 75% forged and maybe 25% stock removal, because you're going to still use your belt grinders. Even people who forge knives and do all that stuff completely, you still end up using a belt grinder. So that is what we've got planned. Now, the next video, I'm going to be showing you all some of the, little adjustments that we're going to do. We're going to go ahead, do bevels on it. We're going to do things like that in the next video. So hopefully y'all are looking forward to that, guys. If y'all would, give this video a thumbs up, share this video or one of my other videos, and you have to make sure that you subscribe and go ahead and hit the notification bell. I haven't been telling y'all to do that because I've been leaving it up to y'all, but I think that I want y'all to be able to get notified for when this stuff is coming up. And I don't know how much y'all are hitting the notification bell, so just make sure you hit the notification bell so when my videos go live, you can actually go ahead and watch them. Guys, thank y'all for coming by. Thank y'all for spending your time with me. Y'all have an amazing day. Y'all stay safe out there. I'll catch y'all next time.